In this neighborhood on the outskirts of Bogota, people are gathering to discuss the state of the country. They're mostly young, students and workers that have been participating in the unprecedented protests that have rocked Colombia and the unpopular government of Ivan Duque.
Por eso estamos generando estos espacios.
We are building these spaces to address the demands of the strike and form decision in a collective manner, unify the demands, our proposal, and strengthen the strike.
Hundreds of thousands of Colombians have protested over the past 2 weeks, compromising the government's reforms and affecting the local economy and commuters. Yet, despite the inconveniences, polls say 55% of Colombians support the strike, though most would also like to see a return to normality.
Podamos llegar.
Under pressure, President Duque announced a great national dialogue on a number of social issues, but he refused to talk to the protesters directly. So they called a third national strike. The government asked the unions and the student groups that make up the national strike to call off Wednesday's protest, offering in exchange the possibility of a direct parallel dialogue. But the leaders of the strike were unmoved by their request.
No.
Pro-government Congresswoman Margarita Restrepo says the demonstrators are being duped by the government's political opponents.
What started as a peaceful demonstration was exploited by negative political leaders who couldn't accept their defeat at the polls. And there are also all these foreign agents who are not thinking about the future of our country and exploiting this for their political gains.
Back on the streets, professors from Colombia's private university, Los Andes, are holding free classes to discuss the long-standing economic and social issues brought up by the strike. Historian Ana Otero says the government is blind to the changes happening in the country.
Yes, I think my generation was born in a Colombia that was very violent. We didn't take the streets. I think this generation that was born in this century are not scared anymore and they want to just keep going on. What the problem is now, I believe, is that the government is not understanding that that's the way they have to express and that they want to express their demands.
A disconnect that seems to be growing every day, further fueling the discontent. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogota.